Louisiana Republican Mike Johnson, he's the new Speaker of the House. Oh, they're talking about how nice and gentle he is, but he is hardcore. He is hardcore MAGA. He was an election denier, the leader in that front. He is anti-LGBTQ. He is a Christian fundamentalist. He is someone who, again, comes off as a nice guy, but the reality is he is no different than Jim Jordan, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and the rest of them. And that's really what, Greg, what they're trying to do is sort of like with Mike Pence, to come across as genteel, calm, nice demeanor, love talking about his faith. But the reality is he is someone who is not going to be on the side of black people.
No, he's not, Roland. And, and just connecting this to the string of voting rights conversations that are being held down. And, of course, we're going to see this North Carolina grab end up in the courts. John Roberts, remember when John Roberts was appointed to the court? He was not a known quantity either. And like this Mike Johnson, a kind of pedestrian name, white man, and he has wreaked havoc on the federal courts. But you see now they've begun to pump the brakes at the Supreme Court. Certainly the Alabama decision, the Milligan decision, kind of paved the way for what we're seeing now with the conversation in Georgia, the rulings now in Georgia, and so forth. And I think North Carolina may go that way ultimately. I'm putting that in context of what's going on with the legislative branch. Mike Johnson is a hardcore, as you say, MAGA. He is much worse than Jim Jordan, because unlike Jim Jordan, this guy is a constitutional lawyer. He wrote a long brief trying to justify legally overturning the election of 2020. He was, and he has been named, he kind of characterized as the architect of that work. And in the election of 2024, no doubt he would attempt to steal that election as well. I'm saying all that as a prelude to this. The Matt Gaetz wing of the White Nationalist Party, the Republican Party, is triumphant. They got everything they wanted. This is Jim Jordan with a coat and tie and a law degree who he actually practices and uses. Mike Johnson is straight out of the 19th century. He's straight out of The Handmaid's Tale. And at a time when the federal courts, at least the Supreme Court, seems to realize that this thing they broke beginning with Citizens United that is now spun almost out of control, they're trying to put it back together. This legislature is now going for complete broke. Mike Johnson looks good today, but Roland, as you know, and as you know better than most, wait until he has to try to pass something through that Congress. And that's when we're going to see the same thing we saw with Mike McCarthy, because there are no moderates in the White Nationalist Party at this point. They are all as a block. But you're going to see when Mike Johnson has to step up that way, You're going to see the true Mike Johnson.
Very simple, Randy. Don't let the smooth talk fool you.
Yeah, something I say to people all the time is racists can be very polite. Racism could even come off politely. So don't be fooled just because he's not walking around with overalls, chewing on a corn husk, saying the N-word, right? Like, this is a slick man who believes that women are only for breeding and that the world should be run by white, heterosexual Christian men, period. And that's who he's for, and that's what he has always been clear. That's who he's for. That is who he's going to protect, and everything he does is going to be in their favor. So it's people should be scared, right? Because this is, this is a sheep in wolf's clothing, or a wolf in sheep's clothing, rather.
Joe, he got questioned by a reporter. Go to my iPad, got questioned by a reporter about him trying to overthrow the election. And you should listen to the woman to his left tell the reporter to shut up.
Senator Johnson, can you help lead the efforts to overturn the 2020 election results? Will you
Next question. Next question.
Joe, he shook his head. They all said no, but he did.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely did. And so here's going to be another guy. He's going to fly under the radar for a minute. He'll get a little bit of a honeymoon. There's a question as to whether or not the Republicans will give him a little bit more deference, because he's basically, to get the budget passed, he's going to have to do the same thing that McCarthy was getting ready to do, or didn't want to do. But eventually, these chickens will come home to roost. and there will be a problem with the MAGA wing, or he goes along with the MAGA wing, the government shuts down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's less experienced, however, has never chaired a committee, et cetera, doesn't necessarily know a lot about that gig. And I think that if the Democrats play it the right way, we have to go through some changes in the meantime. We play it the right way. I think that it gives us a very good chance of having Hakeem Jeffries in 2024.
And before I go to my break and bring up my next guest, Michael T., just here, this is what he actually said in a hearing regarding Roe v. Wade.
Roe v. Wade gave constitutional cover to the elective killing of unborn children in America, period. You think about the implications of that on the economy. We're all struggling here to cover the bases of Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and all the rest. If we had all those able-bodied workers in the economy, we wouldn't be going upside down and toppling over like this. Listen,
the gentleman,
I will not yield. I will not. Roe was a terrible corruption of America's constitutional jurisprudence. Roe v. Wade gave constitutional cover to the elective
those
killing.
Able-bodied people, right? But this is the same party that wants to cut funding to feed people, does not want to do Medicaid expansion, didn't want health care. So it's amazing. How are you going to support them? Oh, that's right. That ain't what you do.